and so Priscilla was usually carefree. But Hamish noticed she was looking rather strained. "What's up?" he asked.
"Come back with me and we'll have something to drink and I'll tell you."
Hamish got in the car. He glanced at her sideways, reflecting that she looked more beautiful than ever. Her golden hair shone with health, and her skin was lightly tanned. She was wearing a sky-blue cotton dress, with a broad white leather belt at the waist, and her bare tanned legs ended in low-heeled brown leather sandals. Some of the old desire tugged at his heart, but she was so cool and competent, so expert a driver, so seemingly oblivious of him as a man, that it quickly died. He felt illogically that she would be quite devastating if she did something wrong for once, crashed the gears, dropped something, had a hair out of place, wore the wrong shade of lipstick, or were guilty of any simple little human lapse at all. The fake baronial pile that was Tommel Castle Hotel soon loomed up. She told Hamish to leave the groceries at the reception desk and led their way through to the bar, formerly the morning room.
"Want a whiskey, Hamish? Or will we have coffee?"
"Coffee's just fine." She poured 2 mugs of coffee, and they sat down at one of the tables.
"So what's been happening?" asked Hamish. "Well, everything was running smoothly. The new gift shop that I'm going to run is nearly finished, and I've been off on my travels accumulating stuff to display in it. We were expecting 8 members of a fishing club, but they cancelled at the last minute. Their chairman was trying to land a salmon somewhere down south, and the fish turned out to be more powerful than he and dragged him in and down the rocks and over the rapids. He's recovering in hospital. He was an old friend of Daddy's, and it turned out that Daddy hadn't even charged any booking fees. So we had another booking, which Daddy wanted to turn down flat. It's from the Chickmate Singles Club. Daddy has gleaned a lot of knowledge of singles bars from American films, so the very word singles started informing at the mouth. Mr. Johnson said, quite rightly, that we should take their booking to make up for the lost fishing party. But Daddy wouldn't be moved, so Mr. Johnson called me in to talk sense into his head. This Chickmate Singles Club is actually one of the most expensive dating and marital agencies in Britain. I told Daddy they must have half the titles in the country on their books, which is a wild exaggeration, but the old snob fell for it, remarked Priscilla, who often found her father at trial. It's actually mostly a marriage agency. The thing that clinched it was the woman who runs it, Maria Worth. Dropped in on us to check the place out, and she was so impeccably tweedy and blue-blooded. She even has a tweedy mind, that Daddy caved in and smammed all over her. So, everything's settled, but I felt so limp after all the arguments and stupidity. I felt I had to get away just for a little and volunteered to do the shopping. You mean this Maria Worth is something like a marriage broker? Sort of. She charges enormous fees. She's bringing 8 of her clients up to get acquainted. Dear me, said Hamish, scratching his fiery red hair in puzzlement. They must be a sad bunch of folk if they have to pay some woman to find them a mate. Not necessarily. Usually they're people who want someone with money to match their own fortunes, or middle-aged people who don't want to go through the indignities of dating a stranger. It's very hard dating in this day and age, Hamish, said Priscilla seriously. I mean, isn't it better to have an agency check the other person out first? Find out more about them? I might try it myself. Don't be silly, said Hamish crossly. We both know almost everyone in the whole of damn Sutherland, and what we don't know we can soon find out. Who says I want to marry someone from bloody Sutherland? Priscilla glared at him. Hamish suddenly grinned, his hazel eyes dancing. So, you're human after all. Of course I'm human, you great Highland drip. It is just that you always seem so cool about everything. You're like a nice chilled salad. I don't like scenes and confrontations, that's all. If you had a father like mine, you would shy away from dramatics as well. Why doesn't the wee man just jack this hotel business in? Said Hamish, not for the first time. He's making a mint. He can go back to being lord of the manor and take down the hotel sign. He loves it. Some of his old army friends book in here, and he tells them long stories about who he had nearly shot himself.